Yes, sir, Skid. You are tuned into another edition of Infinite Vibes. I am Moran, the man. The pull-up action is official. I'm in the presence of an up-and-coming artist who is out here putting on for the Midwest right now.
For a fact, it's your boy Huey V, man. What's poppin' with you?
Oh, man, I'm good. I'm great. We in Atlanta, GA. He's been kicking it, running around the city, going crazy for the past few days. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how has my city been treating you?
Oh, it's fire so far. I ain't even gonna lie to you. It's fire. I'm on vacation out here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm on vacation out here. It's been nice.
Word. Nice. I know you hit up a strip club.
Oh no, not even. I'm working, man. I'm working. I'm on vacation, but I'm working. But who knows? Who knows what I might get into?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I got a private session, listen to party and stuff like that. So afterwards, we might get into some shenanigans.
I like it, man. He is definitely about his business. He's definitely professional. You got to do what you got to do first, so you can do what you want to do later. So
ball out afterwards. Ball out afterwards for a fact.
For sure, man. So, you are artists, you represent in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But the Midwest, I feel like the Midwest as a whole has been on fire as of late. So
going crazy.
So how does it feel for you to be putting on for this new era of just new artists from your side of the world?
I feel like a pioneer in a sense. Like we had somebody before. Of course, you got Lakea now at QC. But before her was I can't even remember his name from in my project.
Yo, that's like what came to mind.
Yeah, Cuckoo Cow. That was the other person, but his story kind of ended it, and it was a little fuzzy. I say that. So for me to be coming out of my generation, putting on for lyricists and shit like that, it's a good feeling.
Part, because when I listen to your music, you really. When I listen to how you deliver on your songs, you don't really sound like somebody that just goes in the booth and do everything, just do anything.
Nah, I got to write it out. I got to write it out. Sometimes I'll freestyle like melodies, but for the most part, like I like to have my thoughts like planned out.
That part. Rappers still write in today's era.
Oh,
that's good
for
to
a fact. Yeah. Usually when people say they freestyling, it'd be like punch-ins. So I consider that like it's freestyling, but it's not really like freestyling.
Right.
It's not, because you could delete that. Yeah, you can delete that. Yeah.
That part. So, growing up in Milwaukee, growing up in the Midwest, talk to us about your origin. What was life like for you growing up, man?
It was interesting. I say that it was definitely interesting. But reckless and fun. Like, when you grow up inside of that type of environment, it's not necessarily dangerous to you because that's all you really know. Not until you see the rest of the world. But I didn't really get to leave the city until I turned like 22 for the first time I really left. Going to Chicago, I don't really count that because that's kind of like, next door. It's basically the exact same thing type stuff.
Right.
So for the first time when I went out to like Miami and out to New York, it made me kind of put things into perspective, like how the city is. So when we went out to DR, I'm like walking around looking at stuff. I'm like, damn, this kind of remind me of the crib a little bit.
Right.
Like some parts of their city look kind of like how my city is, how my neighborhood is type stuff.
I mean, what is life like in Milwaukee? Because, being from Atlanta, the only thing that I can say I know about Milwaukee is the Bucks. That's it. I don't know nothing about Milwaukee and the state of Wisconsin, the Green Bay Packers. That's as far as it goes.
They shot the Pfizer up on the last day of the our last game of the series type stuff. I think it was the game before our closing game type stuff, to just tell you how that is type stuff. I think it was like 1,100 people out there or whatever. Shot that whole stadium up. Like
you like shot it
they shot the whole stadium up. I'm
That's
trying to tell you, it's crazy. It's crazy. They had to shut it down for the last game that we had out there type stuff. When it's too many of us in one location, it get rowdy. I say that every single time we gonna turn up. Every single time.
That's crazy. So is it because every so often, whenever we have a guest on the show that's not from the city, they always talk about how it's hard for some of the up and coming artists to get along and build with each other. Is it like that in Milwaukee?
Nah, I say they got it's a growing music community.
Okay.
Real embracing and stuff like that. It's the battle really be between like the performing community in hip hop and the venues. Because predominantly like the venues is like majority white owned. So like it's really they trying to break barriers basically. Milwaukee's hip hop scene is very like encaged, but it's like it's very loving and embracing type stuff. Because everybody's trying to find a way to make it out. So every time I go back home, I try to show some type of love. I bring an artist out on one of my showcases. Whatever I can make happen, I try to show some type of love.
That part. So, doing music, just to get to where you are right now, we all know how this goes. It's not going to happen overnight. So when did you start making music?
When I started making music?
Yeah.
I say I started writing when I was like 14.
Okay.
I originally started with like poetry. And then after I say probably maybe about 2 years, I wrote my first like real rap. But it wasn't until like Kendrick, it was the rigor mortis instrumental. And when the actual song, I heard the instrumental, it was the jazz. It made me start rapping about like real life, like the things that were happening around me at that moment, like that type of stuff. That's when I started rapping about like the now. And then by 18, I hit my first studio. My boy Joe Jetson, shout out to him. He basically been recording me anytime I go back to the city, type stuff. If it's not in Miami and getting my stuff mixed by Guru, then when I'm back in the city, then I'm getting mixed by him type stuff. That's my version of Guru.
Hard.
But by 18, we put out our first mixtape called Get Well Soon. And then after that, I put out my next single called No Regrets, and that was the one that got me discovered type stuff like that.
Beautiful.
So it's probably been about like 10 years coming up on 11.
Hey man, that 11-year anniversary is right around the corner.
11-year anniversary right around the corner for a fact.
Right around the corner. So, talk to us about just the grind within itself. Like, did you have moments where you got frustrated? Did you have moments that made you say, man, I can't?
It's always a little bit frustrating because just people naturally would expect some type of immediate, like, instant gratification, especially with like social media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You always feel like you're supposed to be working or hustling like 100 times harder than what you actually can type stuff, just because of what you see. But it really only show you that it's feasible, but everybody's journey happens at everybody else's own, like, very own pace type stuff like that. So I try not to put too much idea on it, but at the same time, I'm rushing against my own time clock. Like, I think about, like, my family. I want to see certain people there when I make it to certain places. I want to bring certain people with me. I know certain people still in the hood right now, so I'm trying to, get to where I got to get to in order to bring them out, as soon as I possibly can, because, yeah. Yeah,
absolutely, because time is the ultimate luxury that you can't get back. But at the same time, it takes time to get what you want.
Exactly. So you got to make sacrifices. That part, you got to make sacrifices.
So talk to us about your sacrifices. Like, what are some things that you had to sacrifice in order to get to where you are? Have you been in a scenario where, man, I can't pay this light bill because I got to go to the studio, man? I can't go to
that was before the deal. Yeah, that was before the deal. Sometimes you give up absolutely anything. It might be time in itself after the deal. It's not necessarily bills that I'm worried about, but it's the time that I can't get back with, like, family afterwards. Like, leaving out, coming out to Atlanta, I'm enjoying myself and stuff like that. But after you do it so many times, so many years after, you be like, damn, it's been about 4 or 5 years since I, been back to the crib. I probably hugged my mom's probably like 2, 3 times in the past 4 years. Like, you start to think about stuff like that. You got to weigh the option, like, but you trying to buy her this new crib, so she got to hold that down right now.
Yeah, dope.
Sacrifices.
Yeah, the sacrifices, they're necessary, but they pay off in the end.
You gotta stay consistent though. You can't halfway it. If you halfway it, then it's just you doing it for nothing.
Absolutely, man. You dropping gems, man.
I'm trying to tell you, infinite vibes, man.
Absolutely, this is what we on. So even with the success of music, we all come into things when it comes to people who may not necessarily see the vision. So did you experience people not necessarily taking you serious when you said you wanted to be an artist?
Yeah, it's always like that, especially from the city. I wouldn't call it like crabs in a barrel, but that's kind of what it is, just the mentality of it. Like, naturally, people will project whatever insecurities or whatever misfortunes in life that they've had onto somebody else when it comes into thinking whether something could be feasible for them to even succeed it, possibly. So, like, when I first said that I was going to start rapping, of course, people who have been before me rapping, like, what? How you supposed to do this? I've been doing this for da-da-da.
Yeah.
But you not nice like me. Like, they never, they don't never say you not nice like me. So, for a fact, like, since the beginning, you'll, like, face the haters and stuff like that. But if you quit after the first time and somebody telling you no, then you wasn't built for the rap game. Like,
that part.
It's gonna come with it, man. Sometimes people ain't gonna believe until they believe.
Yeah, that's real. That's real deal, Holyfield. So what are some of, outside of just a deal, what are some of your personal goals that you checked off of your list? Like, what are some things that, okay, when I first started rapping, I wanted to do this and I did that. What are some things that you want to share?
I say honestly, like, most of my goals be just in life, like going places. Like, my first time leaving out the country, I marked that off. I got my passport for the first time. I ain't got no felonies and nothing like that.
There we go.
Yeah, I had to take care of that. Whatever. So boom, did that. I really want to go to Canada. I ain't never been to Canada before. I want to go to Amsterdam. So like those are like the things that I really want to mark off. You know, getting my mom's a new crib or a car. Those are my type of goals.
Absolutely. Beautiful, 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 man. So I'm just curious to know, because you said that you started rapping at 14 and you had your first studio session a few years after that. Yeah. So what was your first studio session like, you know, just being in the booth for the first time? Because it can be intimidating.
I ain't gonna lie to you. It's definitely a different ball game. Because like before then I was just freestyling the hood type stuff like that. I got mad videos freestyling random hoods. But when you get into that booth, it's a whole nother animal, because you got to actually listen back for like replayable value type stuff like that. You hear all the missteps that you might make in the flow and stuff like that. Got to piece that together. And then eventually when it turned into like me trying to put melodies to stuff, me trying to learn how to sing for the first time, is when things got like super, super difficult. Yeah. So now it's like every time I go to the studio, I'm locked in. I don't like no audience in there. It's just me, the engineer. If it is an engineer, sometimes I just record myself type stuff, knock it all out that way. But as much like peace and solace that I can get inside of a studio, the better.
Yeah, that's good, because everybody got their way of creating. Because, you know, it's not like going to a studio session. There's 28,000 people in there.
It's a feng shui thing. Like the energy got to be right. Sometimes it's cool for it type stuff. If I'm turning up inside of the booth, all right, bet, you know, you might feed off the energy of the people outside the studio. But when it's like when you venting on a track, you don't want nobody in the room. You don't want nobody putting their ideas in there. Not at least during the baby stages of your song, because you got to get it to where it needs to be for them to even see where you're trying to take it.
Right. No, that's real deal.
It's a science, man. It's a science.
You sound like you've been studying the game for a minute, so
I just love this rap shit, man. I love it. I love this rap shit. I take it passionately for a fact.
Who are some of your inspirations behind this? Like any artists that you look up to and or want to work with?
I say, of course, Jay.
It's only right.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Without even the affiliation type stuff, without even affiliation, I genuinely mess with, because it's poetry. Yeah. It's poetry. The way that he writes is poetry. One of my favorite albums from him right now is the 444. That one grew on me, but like just seeing it packaged and everything with the videos, everything, like it's the poetry behind it. It's the poetry behind it. But I say him. Of course, Kendrick. Yeah. I mess with the sequence of his albums and stuff like that. Yeah. I mess with albums that, you know, you gotta listen to it back a couple more times.
He is definitely the king of cohesiveness.
Yeah. You feel me?
Yeah, his albums be so cohesive.
No fast food music. And I say probably last, like, inspiration wise, low key probably Frank.
Frank Ocean?
Yeah, Frank. Okay. It's a song that he got called Nights. But I was watching some, like, it was a breakdown. Like somebody did like this breakdown on the way, like the dun dun dun, like the switch in the music or something like that. It's the science behind it, how like the brain work when it's listening to that song, and that's why everybody got the same reaction when they listen to that song when it dropped like that. So me hearing that or like studying that made me start looking more into like his catalog. He do that a lot with his work, so I started paying attention to like, it's not necessarily what you say, but it's how you make the person feel when they listen to your music.
Absolutely, because like with Frank Ocean, Novocaine, it's such a lit song, but it's deep down depressing. Like when you listen to it, like when you really could, like Frank, I get what you're saying. Like it's like, yo, we not supposed to be turning up to this.
That's like pumped up kicks. I ain't even like it's like pumped up kicks.
It's like this song is low key sad, low key. But hey, when you're an artist, that's what come with it. So you know, speaking of an artist, you know, you were discovered by an artist. Much love to Memphis Bleek. He's definitely he's absolutely a legend, one of the faces of Rocafella, one of the greatest hip hop labels ever. So was it the song itself that you put out that got you discovered, or were y'all like building before then?
It was the song itself, No Regrets. I put that one out originally as an independent artist. Okay. Type stuff. Put it out on YouTube. And there was this chick who was playing this song, got this kickback. And it just so happened to be an A&R ad from Roc Nation. So he heard the record at the kickback when she was playing it, Allentown, PA. That's where she was at. Shout out to Allentown. But he heard the record and was like, yo, what's homeboy information? And she was like, oh, this my guy. So she sent him the information. He reached out to me probably like a week later. I got the call from like Bleek, because he was like, yo, I know somebody who knows somebody. He could probably try to tap it in. You ain't got to believe in me now, but if it work out, give me 6 months. If we can make something happen, we can make something happen.
Okay.
I got the call back in like a week. He was like, yo, I need like 2 more records. This No Regrets record is the one, but I need like 2 more records to make sure. I'm like, all right, cool. So I sent him out, which y'all hear now, Love Is Overrated.
Yeah.
And After the Deal was the 2 records that I sent him. He was like,
here we go.
Bring him on, yeah, bring him on. He ready for it.
So what was that like? Because, Memphis Bleek, in my honest opinion, he's one of these, like, faces in hip-hop. He's done so much, but he's so, like, behind the scenes now.
Mm-hmm.
So
he on the CEO vibes.
Yeah.
He on the CEO vibes.
So, what was that feeling like for you to know that this guy who's done so much in hip-hop already is reaching out to me? You know what I mean?
I ain't gonna lie to you. It ain't really hit me until I officially like went out to New York to go be like, all right, cool, this is gonna happen. We was sitting in the side of the office and stuff like that.
Right.
It took until that moment to be like, okay, this is real. Because at first, even still through the phone call, I'm like, I could be talking to anybody. I could be talking to anybody.
Yeah.
So when I went out to New York, that was my first time even getting on the plane. So that made it like even more bigger than what it actually could have been type stuff. But that's my first time getting on the plane, landing in New York. Got picked up by a homie who reached out to me originally. Right. Took me back to the hotel. It was like probably like 11 niggas in a hotel smoking out the hotel. They go, Bleek. Yo, what up? Word. Yo, Yeah. I'm like, oh shit, damn, I'm really here.
You really in New York. You really feeling that Marcy energy.
Facts.
Like, I'm pretty sure everybody in the room had on Timberland boots.
Everybody in the room I had Timberland boots on too. No cap.
Beautiful stuff, man. So, like, what are some of your bucket list things, man? Like, what are some things that you want to do before all of this is over with, bro?
I don't know. I got to bring Grammys in.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I got to bring Grammys in. If I don't do that, then I ain't really doing it for no reason type stuff. Besides that, probably like world tours.
There we go.
I'll say world tours, Grammys, Grammy committee.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start something inside of my city. Something for like black entrepreneurs or just minority entrepreneurs and stuff like that. It ain't even got to be music, but just some type of program, like an accelerator program or something like that. Maybe a grant funding, something.
Right. Yeah, so what are some other things that you said again? I mean, cut you off. What you say?
Oh no, I said it's probably like my top 3. It's like
beautiful,
my top 3. Yeah.
Beautiful. Like, are there some other things in particular that you want to bring to your city specifically outside of just like the Grammy thing? Like maybe going to talk to the kids at the schools. Like,
yeah. No, for a fact, we doing that now.
There we go.
Yeah, we pull onto the schools now. I was just at Rufus Key not too long ago for City Year and stuff like that. Yeah. Talk to the kids about gun violence because we dropped a song called More Love. I think that was probably like my second single that we dropped. Yeah, for the EP, I think that was like my second single. But just talking about gun violence inside of the city. That's like the back to the Pfizer stuff. Like, you really got to tap in with the kids. I'm telling you, they be like 12, 13, 14, turning up now. Like everybody running around with a pissel.
Crazy. Crazy times we living in. Pray for the world, man.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm tell you.
Little kids walking around with AR-15s. Hey, man.
I'm trying to tell you. No remorse. It's bad out there. It's bad.
Yeah, dope, man. But we definitely got somebody like yourself that's on your way to changing the pace. So talk to us about this record that you have now. Like, what was the inspiration behind it?
You said the songs out right now?
Yeah, the one that you pushing right now.
I say just real life, to be honest with you, just real life. Everything that's like pretty much happening right now. The ups and downs of being in the music industry, everything that's happening at the crib, the chips on my shoulder that I still deal with today. Like absolutely anything that's going into my brain is pretty much on that tape. Yeah.
Beautiful. So like, can by the end of the year we expect an album? Like, what are some of the goals for?
Not by the end of the year, but the album is definitely next to come.
Okay,
I say that it's definitely next to come. We probably got some more singles coming out in the summertime. Definitely gonna try to heat stuff up, but yeah, we just dropped this EP, so we gonna let that rock out for a little bit, man. I'm trying to tell you, 7 for 7, no misses on that.
No misses. For real, 7 is a lucky number too.
That part.
Absolutely.
That part.
Beautiful stuff, man. Well, we definitely rock it with you. I'm definitely excited to see what you become as you make your way throughout the industry. And for what I could tell, you really in good hands.
Oh, yeah, man. We tuned in for a fact. They know what's going on. I know what's going on.
Absolutely. Yeah. Beautiful stuff, man. So one thing about Infinite Vibes before we wrap, we always like to ask our guests to just leave positive words of affirmation. So what are some advice that you could provide to anybody that's just on their way trying to get like you, big dog?
I say stay true to you. Stay true to you. It's the same words that was told to me from Bleek. Stay true to you. Like, never try to follow somebody else's path thinking that you're going to get to where you're going to get to quicker, because you might miss your route trying to chase somebody else's. So stay true to you. Always follow whatever feel good to you. If it don't feel right, then you shouldn't do it. If it don't move your soul, then don't move your finger. I say that. For a fact.
That's a bar, man. Definitely rocking with those gems, rocking those jewels. You popped off the interview with the gems, man.
Yeah, man.
That's a little artist. Take advice, tap in. He's serious about his craft.
Tap in, and make sure you follow me on IG. My bad.
That's not you.
Make sure you follow me on IG at Who Is Huey V on every single other social media platform. Same thing. Who Is Huey V? You can follow me on Apple Music. Huey V. Shout out to Title, cause Title always showing love. Shout out to Duce. Shout out to Infinite Vibes, man. You already know what's going on. Huey V in the building, folks.
There it is. Infinite Vibes.
There it is.
The man, Huey V. Milwaukee, Atlanta connection. Hey, stay tuned. Buddy on his way.
Love.